The kitchen smelled like coffee and burnt toast the morning everything changed. Mom stood by the counter with her arms folded, expression calm, almost rehearsed. 20% of your paycheck goes to your brother, she said casually. Then she pointed at herself. And the other 20? Mine. She smiled like this was normal, like she was discussing grocery lists and utility bills, not my future. I stared at her. Dad kept reading the newspaper without looking up. My brother sat at the table, eyes fixed on his cereal bowl. No one questioned it. No one even blinked. Because in our house, this wasn't new. For years, I had worked overtime shifts, skipped weekends with friends, and pushed through exhaustion believing I was helping the family. That's what I told myself. Family helps family. Family sacrifices. Family shows up. But standing there, watching everyone act like my life was a shared subscription service, something finally clicked. I wasn't helping. I was funding everyone else's comfort while slowly disappearing inside my own story. I put my coffee cup down carefully. Then I grabbed my jacket. Mom looked confused. "Where are you going?" I slipped one arm into the sleeve and looked at her. "Here's simpler," I said quietly. "I'm done." Her face changed instantly. Not heartbreak, not concern, panic. Because for the first time, I wasn't negotiating, I wasn't explaining, I wasn't apologizing. I walked out, and I didn't look back. The first night felt strange. I drove 3 towns away and checked into a tiny motel that smelled like old carpet and strong coffee. The room wasn't beautiful. The wallpaper peeled at the corners. The air conditioner made weird noises. But when I shut the door behind me, something unexpected happened. Silence. No demands. No footsteps outside my room. No voices reminding me what I owed. Just silence. And for the first time in years, silence felt peaceful. The first few days were harder than I expected. Freedom sounds amazing until you realize freedom also means uncertainty. I sat at a small table with my laptop and started looking through my finances. I added numbers, then checked them again, then checked them a third time. 80% of my money had disappeared every month. 80%. I stared at the screen. Thousands of dollars, hours of my life, entire years gone. I felt angry, not because of the money, because of what it represented: time, dreams, choices, pieces of me. But anger has 2 directions. It can destroy you, or it can build something new. So I made a decision. I picked up extra shifts, found a roommate, opened a private bank account, started setting goals. Tiny goals at first. Save this amount, pay off this debt, build this routine. Because healing doesn't usually arrive all at once. Sometimes it shows up quietly, one decision at a time. 2 weeks later, my phone buzzed. Mom. I ignored it. Then another, and another. Eventually the texts started. The electricity got shut off. Can you send money? Just until next month. I stared at the screen for a long time. Growing up, every problem somehow became my responsibility. If something broke, I fixed it. If someone struggled, I carried it. If things fell apart, I blamed myself. But this time felt different, because I realized something. Helping someone isn't the same as losing yourself for them. I saved the message. Then I put my phone away and went back to work. Weeks turned into months. Slowly, my life started changing. I bought groceries without calculating every dollar. I slept through the night. I laughed more. I stopped feeling guilty every time I spent money on myself. One afternoon, my brother called. His voice sounded smaller somehow. "They might lose the house," he said quietly. I leaned back in my chair. Part of me expected anger. Part of me expected satisfaction. Instead, I just felt still. Because the truth was, I didn't want anyone to fail. I simply wanted to stop carrying everyone. They thought you'd come back, he added. I looked out my apartment window. Rain tapped softly against the glass. I smiled a little, because he was right. I always came back before. I always rescued everyone else, even when nobody rescued me. But people get used to patterns. And sometimes the hardest thing you can do is change one. Months later, I received a letter. Plain white envelope, Mom's handwriting. Inside were only a few words. We're losing the house. We need help. I sat there reading it, then reading it again. And strangely, I didn't feel anger anymore. Because anger had already done its job. It pushed me out the door. Now, something else had replaced it. Clarity. I finally understood that boundaries aren't punishments. They're protection. They're the quiet way we tell ourselves, I matter too. Life kept moving. I kept saving, kept growing, kept building. I started taking classes I'd postponed for years, made friends who knew me beyond what I could provide, found hobbies I forgot I loved. And one morning, while drinking coffee near my apartment window, I realized something. Nobody had asked me for money in weeks. Nobody had called to tell me what I owed. Nobody expected me to fix their problems. The silence was back, but now it felt different. Before, silence felt lonely. Now it felt like peace. People think freedom arrives with some dramatic moment, a speech, a confrontation, a final goodbye, but sometimes freedom arrives quietly. Sometimes it looks like waking up in your own space, paying your own bills, keeping your own paycheck, laughing without guilt, breathing without pressure. Sometimes it looks like choosing yourself after years of believing you weren't allowed to. I used to think leaving meant losing my family, but I understand something different now. Leaving wasn't about losing people, it was about finding myself. If you've ever felt responsible for everyone around you, if you've ever been told your needs mattered less, if you've ever confused sacrifice with self-worth, remember this: you are allowed to protect your peace. You are allowed to build boundaries. You are allowed to stop carrying weight that was never yours. Because choosing yourself isn't selfish. Sometimes it's the beginning of everything. And sometimes the most powerful thing you can say is nothing at all.